Hi, everyone. I hope everybody has a great week. My name is Dr. Z. I am a clinical psychologist specializing in transgender care. Welcome to my channel. If you're not yet a subscriber, please make sure and support me by subscribing. You also will be helping a lot of other people finding this incredibly valuable and completely free content. And please make sure you subscribe to my Instagram as a way of supporting me as well. That's where I show up daily and give you tips, guidance, and advice. Today, warning, there is going to be foul language. Sometimes we need to use those foul language words to get the point across. And if you've known me for many, many years on YouTube, you know that when I start to curse, I really mean business. In general, if you're not familiar with me, let me just give you a little snapshot. My personality is direct and to the point, and I also love to give all of you some tender, loving, slight kick up your ass to get you moving in a right direction. So if you have kids around, make sure you put headphones on. In today's video, I will be talking about how you can't fuck this up. And I will explain what I mean by that, but this is a really important video for a lot of you who are in the early stages and you are terrified of taking those first steps, or you're somewhere along gender transition and you're still very scared to do other things that are related to gender transition. Maybe you are on hormones, but you are still terrified of coming out at work. Maybe you are on hormones, but you are really scared to start presenting. Maybe you are not on hormones, but you want particular gender affirming surgery and you're holding yourself back. So this video is going to be great for any of you, regardless what stage you're at. And I call it, you just can't fuck it up, because truly you just can't fuck it up. Oh my God, I'm getting used to this. I like to say that word. Don't be surprised if there'll be more videos with foul language. No, all jokes aside, what do I mean by that? So what I mean by that is this. If any of you are going to take small, tiny, small steps toward whatever it is your goal, trust me, you cannot fuck this up. Now, your goal for a lot of you could be just coming out. Your goal could be to figure out what your gender identity is. Your goal could be to make that appointment for surgery. Now, the reason why small steps prevent you from fucking anything up is because they're intended to be small enough that they're set up as building blocks, meaning one step is built on top of another. For example, if you are still questioning your gender identity and you're not sure, your first step should be starting to ask yourself those deep questions in regards to gender, in regards to yourself, in regards to how you identify, how you feel. Your first step should not be running to the clinic and studying hormones. That would be not doing small steps that build up one on top of another, but that would be running ahead, skipping all those steps, and that's how you fuck it up. And we're trying to not fuck it up today. The reason why you're not going to fuck it up if you take little steps is because I promise you, every little step is intended to make you feel more in control of your life. And gender dysphoria does one of the things really well. It spins all of you out of control. It makes all of you feel deeply anxious and very uncertain. So it's going to help you feel more in control of your life. Another thing that small steps are going to do, they're going to put you in a driving seat of your life. That's another element of control. Each step should make you feel not only affirmed, which is incredibly important, but also make you feel confident. Not only confident in being more aligned or more connected to yourself, regardless of where you are in the stage, but also confident that you are moving in a right direction. A great analogy, a great example to this, to transition, will be exercise. If you want to lose 20 pounds, you don't just start going completely from not working out ever to starting crazy sprints. That's how you fuck it up because you've taken on too much. You did not establish those building blocks. And as a result, you're exhausted and most likely you sustained an injury. And when that happens, it makes you feel insecure, uncertain, and depressed. It's the same thing with gender transition. When you take on too much, when you realize what your gender identity is and you suddenly fully go 100 and you express yourself completely, now that may work for some people, but for majority of people, that is too much. And you start coming out to everybody and then you start feeling pressure. And the pressure is that you feel like now there's expectation from other people whom you told to live up to the gender identity. And now you're overwhelmed, or now you're presenting and you're getting misgendered and you're not sure why that is happening. Those things cause setbacks. They start making you feel insecure. They start creating a vortex of depression around you. And as a result, you start losing momentum. You start losing hope. You want to give up. Same way with exercise. If you go circuit training the first time after never doing any exercise for X amount of years, and they make you do incredibly intensive exercises for the first week, you're not going to be able to sit on the toilet. You're going to be crawling. Actually been there myself. It was horrible. Guess what happened? I never went back for circuit training. I to this day hate it. That's how bad the experience was. But if there were little steps that I built on, first started with some mild cardio, then started with maybe some mild weightlifting, I would have put my body in a position where I would have been ready for the circuit training. And gender transition is exactly the same way. And that's why you can't fuck it up. Those steps, the reason why I preach those steps is because they do all of those things and more. Sure, there's some people who bypass all of those steps, who somehow manage to do it in a year and a half, because they have, don't forget, they have tremendous access to resources. I worked with those people. They have financial security, stability, and funds to get anything and everything done pronto. They have incredible support systems. They're also very resilient, strong personalities. There's so many factors that contribute to somebody to be able to do it so quickly. Not to mention that people who are able to do it so quickly are outliers, because guess what? The reality is that a lot of us just don't have access to all of those resources and all of those things. For a lot of us, small steps are going to be essential. For a lot of you, small steps are going to be so vital. The more afraid you are, the more scared you are, the more you're going to need small steps. Small steps not only compound to produce huge results. I promise you huge results. Before you know it, they'll be huge. But small steps also not only work the outside, they help you work on the inside. Now, a lot of times we dismiss the internal aspect of transition. A lot of times we very focus on the external. We forget that it's equally, if not much so, an internal process where you need to integrate all of the things, and where you also have to psychologically heal wounds and also realign yourself. And that takes time. When people don't do internal work, that's how a lot of people end up going through their gender transition, whatever that is for them. And then they tell me, why do I still feel tremendous amount of void? Well, you haven't done the internal work of integration. You've done all the external, but guess what? Now presenting and looking and having a vessel that aligns with your gender identity doesn't mean you also internally align with how you feel. And so small steps are specifically designed to help you with that internal aspect of yourself. That's why they're so important. They help you integrate, and integration is priceless. That's why you can't fuck it up. Trust me, even if it comes to hormones, with the exception of testosterone, it's a very strong hormone. It can do wonders in just 1 week. I have seen it. But when it comes to feminizing hormones, You really, for a lot of you who need that hormone, you have such an advantage over masculine individuals because feminizing hormones, you can have all the way up to a month without any drastic changes or any irreversible things, where you can explore and affirm for yourself whether that's the right hormone for you. Regardless of the hormones, even masculinizing hormones, if you do little steps, if you really do little steps that involve in social transition, by the time you're going to come to testosterone or estrogen or whatever it is, microdosing or any kind of variation of regimen, trust me, you're going to feel like this is right step for me. Right now, what's happening is a lot of you haven't done this building block work yet. You haven't built up those steps. So you're sitting on parameters of the very first step and you're looking up the ladder and you're overwhelmed. Because when you're looking up at the ladder, you're looking up at the ladder of everything that you presume you have to do: hormones, gender affirming surgery, coming out, legal name change, whatever it is for you. And that's overwhelming because you're looking at the very top, and that feels like a huge mountain to climb. But if you focus on the now and focus only on mastering the first step and then the next and then the next, I promise you by the time you're going to get to that very big step that you were scared of 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 months ago, it's no longer going to be terrifying. It's going to feel natural to lean into that step. It's going to feel natural to step into that step. Small steps, again, is something you cannot fuck up. You just can't fuck it up. So my advice to all of you who are still terrified, you can't fuck this up. You just can't. You, by doing the small steps, you're either going to find out this is for you and you're moving in the right direction, or it's not for you. And guess what? Great too, right? Because all of the things you saw up on a ladder, you won't have to engage with, you won't have to confront. Wouldn't that be also a good thing? So why do you spend so much time on those first baby steps, afraid to make a move? I know you're afraid to find out, but notice how not knowing is also not getting you anywhere. And knowledge is always valuable. So this is a video for all of you today. It comes with a lot of love, a lot of tender, loving care. Sometimes we all need a different perspective of looking at things differently. And today, that is such a perspective. Comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. And I will see you all next time. Goodbye.